And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to the Alaska Weather Show. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service on this Saturday, July 1st, 2023. Welcome to our program. This is our first day of broadcasting through YouTube. We have a new YouTube channel at NWS Alaska. And one thing I want to point out about the show format that'll be different from what you've been accustomed to, instead of having the public general weather woven together with the aviation and marine weather, you'll be able to view those segments separately on this channel. They'll be recorded separately so that you can go and view those elements individually. And what that allows for us to do is, on a given day, if we have a lot more weather going on, we can take our time and explain some things. If something is less active, then the segment may be a little shorter, and so allows us a little more flexibility in some of the way we present information. So it'll be much more efficient, because in the past we had some very specific deadlines that made it difficult to get all of the information in. Now, another thing, if you want additional weather information on top of what I provide, please go to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. It brings you to a map of the continental U.S., Alaska, Hawaii to the lower left, and the territories listed below. You click on these, it'll pull up a forecast for anywhere in the country. And that also includes any relevant watches, warnings, or advisories. On the map this Saturday afternoon, we still have air quality alerts for areas of the Great Lakes, Michigan, and areas of New England in the Northeast from the forest fires up in Canada. Further south, we have some severe weather watches here in the Ohio Valley, and then as we get down into the deeper south, we have excessive heat warnings and heat advisories for air temperatures that are going to be well in the 90s to around 100 degrees, but the heat indices will be anywhere from around 105, it feels like 105 to 115 degrees when you factor in those hot temperatures and the humidity. Further west, areas of Arizona, California have excessive heat warnings as well, including Death Valley, that'll see temperatures soaring up into the 120s. And we have red flag warnings for eastern southeast Washington state for high fire danger. Well, here in Alaska, it's a relatively quiet weekend leading up to the 4th of July holiday. We do expect water levels to be running higher on some of the rivers and creeks in the northeastern Brooks Range due to some locally heavier rainfall that fell the past couple of days in that area. So just keep that in mind if you're going to be recreating and anywhere in those regions. A gale force low pressure system in front is working its way up slowly northeastward across the Alaska Peninsula. It'll impact also Kodiak Island and into the entrance there of Cook Inlet. Could see these gale force winds, especially by Sunday. Warmer and drier weather this weekend over south central. It's been a very dreary period the last almost 2 weeks, at least 10 days. So some sunshine, warmer temperatures, 60s, even a few 70s popping up in the normally warm spots there in the Mat-Su Valley. Even areas of the southwest interior, lower Yukon and Kuskokwim River basins will be seeing some warmer temperatures too. And as we look a little further ahead here, prior to mid-July, but say between roughly the 6th and 13th of July, it's looking a little warmer across the northeast mainland and along the Alcan border down the Panhandle, but still cooler in the west, especially the southwest part of the state. It's just been below normal temperatures have been persistent and also getting wetter. We're going to see winds aloft from the southwest transporting moisture out of the North Pacific and Bering Sea across western portions of the state. So the western mainland may see more in the way of some rain or showery activity at times here through the first early portion of July. Taking a look at the sky there, Anvik enjoying partly cloudy skies. Temperatures early this afternoon, upper 60s. Some areas will top out around or just above 70 in through the southwest interior. Beautiful weather, waiting so long for that. And then Cold Bay, mentioned that gale force low in front, is impacting Cold Bay there down toward the lower portion of the Alaska Peninsula. Seeing some wind gusts there up over 40 miles an hour this afternoon and some bouts of light rain. That rain may increase in intensity a bit here as we go through tonight. Temperature holding at 49 degrees as of early afternoon. Now, no advisories or warnings or watches currently in effect here in the state, but we do have a special weather statement, again, as mentioned yesterday, for higher water levels on some of the rivers and creeks here along the northeastern side of the Brooks Range, where the drainage is down toward the north slope. So just keep that in mind if you're going to be out recreating. Fire danger anticipated for tomorrow, Sunday, is creeping upward. It was quite low here earlier in the weekend, but we're going to start to see some pockets of very high fire danger. And so again, if you are planning on any outdoor recreating, especially camping, if you have a campfire, tend it, be very cautious with fire, and certainly with the 4th of July holiday, be very careful about lighting off fireworks and where you do it. And if you do that, have water around to be able to extinguish a fire should something start, because we don't want to have it grow into a bigger problem. Looking at the satellite imagery, here's the circulation around that area of low pressure there just south of the eastern Aleutians and the tip there of the Alaska Peninsula. And this front is going to slowly lift its way north and northeastward later tonight and through the day tomorrow. There is a cold front up here along the Russian Arctic coast, far eastern Russia on up into the Arctic Ocean. This front is not especially strong, but there is definitely some cooler to colder air behind it. And it will make some advancement before washing out, and then just kind of general weak trough of low pressure here, as we typically see this time of year across the interior, with scattered showers and thunderstorms developing with the daytime heating. We're going to see a few of these in areas of the Yukon, also out through the central, east central interior along the Yukon River Valley and back even toward areas of the southwest. You may notice some cumulus buildups that eventually develop into some scattered showers and even a few thunderstorms. So on the surface map this Saturday afternoon, there's a 991 low there to the southeast of Dutch Harbor. And this feature is going to gradually weaken and lift north and northeastward. You can see much of the interior, much of the southwest. These are clearer skies with the popcorn clouds, those building cumulus that could lead to a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. And then the cold front along the Arctic Ocean back to eastern Russia, not strong, but it will tend to wash out as it slowly works its way eastward here through the weekend. Low pressure late tonight, early Sunday morning is still well south of the tip there of the Alaska Peninsula. And the front, though, has a belt of stronger winds along it. And that is what's creating the gale force winds along sections here. We have gale warnings in effect for areas along the Alaska Peninsula, including Shelikof Strait and into the entrance there of Cook Inlet by Sunday. And otherwise, the troughiness just kind of lingers there across the interior, which is very typical for this time of year. And Sunday afternoon, the low is not especially strong, weakening, rising pressure above 1,000 millibars, and then it pretty much just kind of washes out. But some of the moisture with it is going to spread north and northeastward, so we're going to start to see more rain again, especially along areas of the western and north central Gulf Coast and spreading upward as well as back across the Alaska Range into areas of the southwest and all along the west side of the state. And if that's not enough, there'll be another low sitting back here toward south of the Aleutians that's going to take a similar track. And this overall pattern will continue as we go into the middle portion of July. That is going to allow the ridge to build a little more here out across the southeast and along the Alcan border. That's why temperatures should be warming here as we go a little further along here into July. And it should end up being a bit drier, especially across the Panhandle. So here are the temperatures. Lows generally, say 45 to 50 across much of the area. A few areas like Anchorage Bowl should stay above 50 tonight. Then Sunday afternoon, cooler in through the Panhandle. You're going to start to see an offshore flow coming in, but at least it'll be a little drier. Some areas will get back in the 60s. Warmer temperatures here Sunday afternoon. Clouds, though, will be increasing from the south and west, so that's going to cut down on the temperatures. Not as sunny of a day here across the Kenai as today, but 73 back up there at McGrath. And then lows, because of the cloud cover, should stay generally above 50 in many places Monday morning. And then come Monday afternoon, unfortunately, some more showers moving in through this region, all of this side of the Gulf, because of that front working its way north and eastward with the moisture. Interior areas along the Yukon River, generally above 50 degrees, as warm as 57 for a low at Fort Yukon. A couple areas may flirt with freezing up toward Utqiagvik, but then look at these temperatures. Sunday afternoon could hit 83 at Fort Yukon, 81 at Eagle, 80 at Fairbanks for the warmest air right here over the central and east central areas of the state, 64 at Nome, and even 55 again is some 50s here along the northwest Arctic coast. Lows Monday morning could stay near 60 degrees there in the Yukon Flats, and temperatures as warm as maybe 85 at Fort Yukon by Monday afternoon, and that will help fuel some scattered showers and thunderstorms with that instability and any moisture that remains in the lower atmosphere. And then we'll see temperatures cool a bit here across the Yukon-Kuskokwim Basin, simply because we are going to have some cloud cover and rain showers returning. So at least low temperatures, generally mid-upper 40s along the Alaska Peninsula, Aleutians near just above 50 as you go up the Yukon and Kuskokwim River. Sunday afternoon, not quite as warm at Bethel. Instead of 70-ish, we may only be about 64 there. And then for Monday morning, temperatures still upper 40s along the Kuskokwim and Bristol Bay, near or just above 50 as you go upriver there in the Yukon and Kuskokwim. And Monday afternoon, we expect this area to be cloudier with areas of rain and rain showers. Here's the extended temperature outlook. July 7th through the 11th, and with general low pressure track continuing to work its way North Pacific and off the Bering and riding northeastward, we're going to have a flow of moisture in the areas of the atmosphere that transport the moisture for precipitation to center on the west side of the state. That means more clouds, cooler temperatures around Kodiak Island, the southwest, even up through Cook Inlet, but warmer temperatures in the northeast mainland and extending down, especially in through the Panhandle. You may enjoy some bouts of warmer temperatures here through the early half of July. Definitely drier weather as a result of that ridge setting up here for much of the Panhandle, but further west, we're just going to have this feed of moisture, south-southwest flow along, so that's going to keep areas of the Alaska Peninsula, around Bristol Bay, on up through the lower Yukon Delta, and up along areas of the West Seward Peninsula, and especially central western portions of the Brooks Range, maybe a bit wetter than normal. So that's the way things are looking, at least here once we get past July 4th.